Good afternoon. Episode 1 of Experience Exzneair. In today's episode, it's Essence of Exzneair. How you doing?
Hey girl, I'm excited. Okay. I'm excited today. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed because the Detroit Lions didn't go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So, but other than that, I am just very blessed right now. So I'm excited.
I'm going to cheer on like a cheerleader does because I don't know anything about football, but you do. So why don't you just tell me, who is Exzneair?
Wow. So who am I? Well, first off, I'm Exzneair Williams. And this is my podcast, Experience Exzneair. And I just, for me, it all started off with my name, Exzneair, who I am.
What does that mean?
I actually don't know what it means, but I will tell you that I was named after my great-grandmother. So I never got a chance to actually meet this woman. Mm-hmm. And so my mom decided to name me after her in honor of her, which was kind of dope. But growing up with that name, I did not like it. It was very hard to spell. It was very hard to pronounce, or others to pronounce it. So I went by different aliases. So actually, when people ask me who I am, that was really a hard question to ask because I didn't even know who I was because I was either Brooke or I was Xena because my middle name is Brooksetta. So asking me who I am, this is who I am. This is the start of Exzneair. So
okay, but Can you give me a couple of those aliases that you're talking about?
Yes. So we have Z, we have Xena, we have, like I said, Brooke, and those people are all combined up, like all made up of really who I am, but they have defined moments of creating this particular person. So when I was younger, I was Brooks, and when I got an adult, I was Xena.
Okay.
So from like 20 on, I was Xena. And then right as now, being 43 years old, I'm finally who I am. So I'm finally Exzneair. So those are the aliases.
So we're talking about the essence of Exzneair. And we're going to have some more episodes of Experience Exzneair. How did you come up with that concept and that name and title?
Because I wanted people to really know who I was. The authentic me. Like, for instance, this being my first episode, I was like, oh my God, I need to get glammed up. I need the glam squad. And then finally, after a while, I got to thinking about it and I was like, I want to be authentic. I want to come on my first episode. I want to be relaxed. I want to be comfortable. I was not really even in the mood to get dressed because I felt like, why? Like, why should I? Because if somebody's going to look at me, even though first impressions are like important,
right.
If a person's going to look at me, I want them to see me and see who I am. So with creating the podcast, I figured the only how that I will be able to do that is by allowing my authentic true self, which is Exzneair, to come out and allow people to get involved in all the different experiences that other people have experienced with Xena, which, like I said, she no longer exists. So it was kind of like a do-over. So I get one more time to kind of like reinvent myself and recreate that, even for the people who have known me for years.
Okay. So you said first impressions are not always what people get, right?
Right.
So what is your first impression of yourself?
Wow.
The new Xena.
So what is the first impression of me? Okay, so have you ever like been on like social media and heard dudes or men talk about, oh yeah, I'm gonna take her out on a date, we're gonna go swimming, you know what I'm saying? So all her lashes and her makeup can come off, her weave can be floating in the pool. I really felt like I needed to just be that. I needed to be transparent. I needed to be raw. I needed to be uncut. So that's really who I am. This bold, confident, and sure person. I didn't realize how bold I was until I decided to use the two words that meant the most to me, which was yes and no.
Okay.
So using those words have drawn so much power because if I don't want to, it's no. And if I do, it's yes. And I don't think really necessarily I need to have a definition behind it.
Okay.
After.
So what can your viewers expect from the experience of Xena?
Oh, man. I am... Y'all, I am like so super just honored in this moment. So I want my viewers to expect raw, real things that even the media themselves are not talking about. Like, we talk about mental health, but we don't talk about mental health.
Right.
We talk about abuse, but we don't talk about abuse. We talk about different addictions, but we don't really talk about the addictions. And I want to come from a place that other people don't come from. I want to come from a place where people come onto my show, onto my platform, and they feel comfortable and they feel at ease to ask a question and know that I'm going to answer them back. And then I'm going to give them not something that I can say, oh, I'm a certified, coach, or I'm a relationship therapist, or, I'm a cook. I don't have all the correct answers. I just have a story, and we all have a story. And I just want to hear everybody's story and allow them to get healing and peace where they need that in their lives. So that's what they're going to expect from me. They're going to expect raw, real, and relatable things that we are dealing with right now as either men, women, children. I want to have all aspects. And although I wish I was, or could think like a man to have all the right answers, because if I did, I would probably have a ring on my finger by now, but I don't. So with that, it's kind of like just coming from just life experiences. And I hear it all the time. I hear people tell me that I meet people where they are. Mm-hmm. So I want to be able to meet my viewers where they are, and I want to meet my listeners where they are. And I want to allow my followers to not just see this person who's all glammed up. I want them to see that it can be real, and you might have to show up just as your authentic self.
So does your authentic self also consist of the days that you don't want to participate in life? Because you said you want to come as yourself and authentic. Sometimes it's going to be where I may not want to do this podcast today. So are you still going to come as authentic then? Or are you going to come half?
That's a good question. And I like how you try to like flip twist that and put a little dip on it. But actually, if I'm not feeling it and I know it needs to be done, I think I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. Only because of the work that I already put in just on an everyday basis. I feel like if it's half done, then it's not done. Correct. And even if I have to come to it not really wanting to do it. So let's say that I already had the podcast scheduled. Like, okay, I'm using studio time. Okay, so anybody who's already listening and viewing it, they already know that there's time that is taken. But life happens. So if it's not an emergency and I'm just like tired or just not feeling it, I really think I have to push myself. Okay. And that may be hard. I may have to pretend. But we do that anyway. I do it when I'm at work. I do it when I'm at work. I really do. Like, I do not want to be bothered some days, and I'm tired, and I have an attitude, but I still have to show up my best self. What does that look like? It may look like crying in the parking lot before I go in, or it may look like maybe I have to shut my door today, or maybe if somebody asks me like, how are you doing in the hallway? It's very hard for me to answer it because I'm really not feeling it. Do I remain truthful and say, I'm really not feeling it, I really don't want to be here? Or do I lie and say, you know what, because it's raining outside, it's just kind of gloomy? Or do I just lie and say I'm fine? I just think you still have to show up. Regardless of how you feel, you got to push yourself. And that's where depression comes into play too, because then we find ourselves in places where we're sad and we don't want to come out, but we really do. And I've been in that place too, where I've been depressed and didn't want to do it. And I saw the outcome of what it was like to sit stagnant in a place and not move. So there are a lot of times you have to push yourself. You have to be the voice. You have to be the person that's going to push yourself. So it can be very difficult. So it's very hard to answer that, but I think I'll still have to push through it because, it's work that needs to take place.
Well, I think you answered that very well. So now that you started this podcast, how would you describe Experience when it comes to describing you?
Girl, a whole bunch of experience, baby. So when it comes to me, I'm just me. I'm just a bowl full of energy. I'm a morning person, so I love to get up early in the morning. I love to make people laugh, and I love to make people feel happy about the things that make me happy. It's very hard to kind of understand what makes me happy. It could be a margarita after work. It could be, a walk at the park. It could be a nice book to read. It actually could be just literally sitting on my laptop and creating things. I'm very creative. I'm very outgoing, so I'll try it one time. But I'm just a bowl of experience. I think when a person gets to finally meet who I am, and really get a true chance to get to know who I am, you're kind of stuck with me because I'm that much. I'm just that cool. Like, I'm like the cool cat. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool, but a little spicy, a little ratchet, just a tad.
A little?
Okay, so I can be like a little ratchet, but not where it takes away from being professional. Like, I'm not coming out here trying to, show breasts and skin to get, talked to or identified. But yeah, there are a few ratchet things that I do. So just a tad bit, yes. And I'm a little mixed with bougie too, just a tad.
Okay. Yeah. That was my next question. You're not bougie at all?
Just a little stir it up in the pot.
So, you are 43, right?
Yes, I am.
I wish I was 43, but that's a different story. Did anyone prepare you for the purpose that you are going to be going into your 40s?
No. So let me tell you, anybody who is about to be 40 or who are already in our 40s or in your 40s, man, life does you wrong on so many angles. I'm talking about like back popping, hormones is racing. Sometimes I don't have enough energy. I think I wasted so much of the youth years. From, living at home with my parents and then finally just stepping out and thinking I got all the right answers. And then when you kind of get in your 30s, you're still trying to navigate from a place of, you got to pay bills and you're being a little bit more responsible and paying taxes. And now you in your 40s and everything is aching and hurting and you just don't want to do anymore. So you have to find the energy where you didn't have it. So nobody prepared me for what being 40 would look like. I would always hear like 40 and fabulous, but nah, girl, this is like on a whole nother level.
40 is fabulous.
It is.
It's a different mindset at 40. So when you get to 40, me and you gonna talk because I'm past that. But you're the way that you think is totally different. You think your yes and your no are good right now, it will be invisible at some point.
Well, when I get to that place, you probably be the first person I call and like let know because, honey, I haven't got to that place yet. I'm still in an emotional being. Hell, I'm still even in a place. Do I even take vitamins? What vitamins are good for me? How much water should I really be drinking? So I'm all over the place when it comes to being 40 and dating. Oh my gosh.
That's a whole segment we should
yeah,
have separate.
Because I'm preparing to be in a place where I am a little scared to do all of this. There's a lot of things that I have endured in my life that when it comes to men, I'm a little afraid.
So, would that be in one of your 3 books that you've written?
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about your first book.
Okay.
What's it called?
My first book is The Scarlet Woman. That is the dark side of me. This starts off even when I was in the womb. Okay. I talk about what it was like to be inside of my mother. After hearing, a lot of things that had went on in my mom's, like on her side, with my family. How she was, she was stuck in a place where she had just had my sister. So then a year later, here you come having another one by the same no good man. And I wondered, even while I was writing, how she felt while I was in her stomach. You know, you see all of these great videos of mothers who are having their babies and they're just so super excited. Was my mom super excited? Was she really waiting on me? Or was I enduring the pain that she was enduring and the emotions and all of that, even while being inside of the womb? So starting that book off, I started off with explaining how it was just to grow up. And the dark side of me was losing my virginity at 15. For a lot of people that may be normal. I was born in like 1981, so that particular time we were out having a good time. We were, you know, playing in the streets. We was riding our bikes, going to the parks, you know, having a little sippy sip from the village pantry. You know, we was doing all kind of stuff that we wasn't supposed to be doing. So when it came to sex, I think for me it was just it was the love and the companionship that I shared with somebody, and I felt like at first, like, are you addicted to this? Because you want it, and you want it a lot, and you probably wanted a lot more than even your peers. So I talk about that addiction. I also talk about what it was like to be married, and what it was like to navigate through a space of trying to have girlfriends. And I talk about the first man that I ever fell in love with, and experiencing that love and the abuse that it came with. That was a really dark side for me.
So, if anything could change from today to tomorrow, what would you miss seeing? How would you navigate all that?
If life was to change for me, you know, if life was to change for me right now, we're talking about just in everything, right? Like money, career,
jobs,
everything. Okay,
travel.
Okay. I know this sounds crazy, but I would want to go to like a Dennis the Menace town, like a small town.
Okay.
You know, and I don't know why I picked Dennis the Menace, because that was just like the most cutest little movie, you know, Dennis. And
are you talking about the original one, the 1950s, or you talking about the one that you saw when you was a kid?
I'm talking about the one I saw when I was a kid. Yes. And I mean, Dennis could just roll on the next side of his neighbor's house. You know, hey, Mr. Wilson, you know, what's going on? And everybody seemed to have known each other. The kids used to play at nighttime. The cops knew, you know, each other. I just felt like it was a small, like, loving town, and I would like that. Like, get my milk put on the porch, and I would probably live a life of ghostwriting. That is one of my dreams, to write stories and books for other people. I think that like I said, we all have a story, but do you know how to put that down on paper? Do you know how to get that out there and get it published? Do you know the right people? You know, we get online and there's so many different scams and so many different, hey, buy this, get one for 99 cents. So you're paying $5,000 for something and you getting one item for 99 cents. I don't want to be that person. I think if the ideal life and my life changed, I would go to a small little town and wait for the milkman to put some milk on my doorstep.
Okay.
Oh, and a pie in my window.
And a pie.
Yes.
Do you need the Blue Jay?
No, I probably need Martin Lawrence to come and steal it and grab it like he did in life. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that would be the dream ideal for me.
So with that dream ideal for you, would a man be a part of that? Because in Dennis the Menace, it's Dennis the Menace, his mom, his dad, Mr. Wilson and Mrs. Wilson, and then all the other neighbors. So would there be a Mr. Menace to the Dennis, Ms. Zena?
Okay. I'm going to say with God's, well, you know how they say, if the Lord's will. So if the Lord's will, yes, that would be great. I'm actually navigating from a place of, I need space from men right now. Okay. Although I really believe that I'm ideal for a relationship, ideal for marriage, because I believe that God created us to be with a person. He didn't create us to be alone. I just think that right now, in my life right now at this point, I need space away from men. Okay. I've been hurt so many times. I've done some hurting too. But when I do hurting for you to remember it. Men probably wake up and they probably watching this now like, yup, she ain't lying. I will make you remember me. And that's another thing. Like, the whole Experience Exzneair. I mean, when you're able to really experience it for what it is, you will always remember who I am. I will always be that person, that source to come to you.
So you're navigating your dash. Do you know what that is?
No, let me know. Let me know.
Okay. The dash is what happens between birth and death. So you are navigating your dash. So you're at your 40s. What do you think your dash from 43 to your end date would be like? Because this is an experience.
Ooh. Girl, I don't know. I mean, I had a hysterectomy. And I don't know what that dashboard looked like right now. And I'm also navigating through a place of being abstinent and, abstaining from sex right now. I'm also navigating in a place of taking myself out on dates.
Okay.
I'm navigating from a place of having a 16-year-old daughter still at home. Well, she's about to be 16. Let's just scale it back a little bit. 15-year-old Brooklyn. That dash right now is on E.
What's the E? Is it Xena?
Oh.
Or the experience?
Oh. Girl, that was a good one.
I'm
I'm going to say what it is. It's empty. Okay. I am navigating from a place where I feel like I got to start all over. So I need to be refilled because I've literally gave so much of my time and my energy and different things to other people. So
this is a new birth.
This is a new birth. And I'm talking about like Kirk Franklin new birth.
Okay.
Or he had the rebirth. But I don't know. It was the new birth. Like the remix.
Okay.
The remix. I'm going to say that. So this is like a remix, but just on a different level because I want to be mature in this walk. I want to be real. Like, I don't even want to remember what it is that I told you. I just want it to be so real that it was authentic. So then it's not a lie because I can remember if I said it once, I can say it twice. And maybe the third time for somebody who needs a hearing aid or something like that. But, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how do you think you'll navigate with the naysayers?
Oh. So I am very... I can be real emotional when it comes to negativity and naysayers. There's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be people who's trying to either critique you or tell you what to do or what they suggest that may be better when you've already kind of put it inside of you that this is what I'm going to do. So having to deal with that would probably, I would still need to navigate from that because I probably would still be a little bit emotional and feel some type of way about hearing what somebody else has to say about me. But I think with the maturity and the growth, it may look different because sometimes when you engage with it, then that draws fuel for the next person or for that person to keep going. When you ignore it and suppress it down, you don't give them anything else to hold on to. So I think that I really do need to learn how to suppress those feelings and kind of keep them dim. So then I'm not put in a place where I can cause myself to be emotional or overreact or cause myself to even fall back into depression based off of the naysayers and maybe their opinions on how they feel about me.
Okay. Well, you already said the no is where you at. So you have to tell yourself no if nobody else does.
I do.
So this question kind of falls with the other questions combined. Are you living or are you existing at this point?
Baby. So that is a good question. Okay. So when I think about living and existing, like no joke, and this is just because of who I am, so people don't have to just get used to it, okay? Do y'all remember the scene in Shawshank Redemption where Morgan Freeman asked, I forgot his name, the Caucasian man.
Okay.
Are you living or are you existing?
Okay.
That was a deep question.
Especially when you in prison.
I mean, and they was locked away for real. I mean,
for life.
Brooks got out and killed himself. Why? Boy, you been in here since you was 12 and you done got out and now you want to kick because the world is moving too fast. Boy, okay. But anyways, am I living or existing? I think right now I'm existing. Mm-hmm. The true definition of living is living your best life and being free in who you are. And I still feel a little bit caged and a little bit in this place of where I'm not truly living. But I did create a bingo card for my vision board this year. So instead of doing like a vision board each month, I have a bingo card that I created. And one of the things is embracing who I am and living life. Living life could look like taking myself out on a date or buying myself flowers or different things like that. And I really honestly don't think I'm living. I think I'm literally just existing like a robot. Like I get up at a certain time. Brooklyn has to be at the bus at a certain time. I got to go to work at a certain time. And when I get off at a certain time. And then when I get home, I got to do this. And then when I do that, like I literally don't think that I'm living. I don't know what living life looks like. Does it really look like?
Each person, it varies. So you are living your life. You're living your best life because every day you get up, right? So it may be that you have to get up at 6 o'clock every day because your daughter has to be somewhere. But every day you do something different and every day you're living your life. So you may be existing in your what you think is not living a life, but you are living it. Okay? Mm-hmm. Because you've got this far to this part of your dash. Now, every day after that, from your experiences, is what's going to get you to the good end of the other dash. So my next question is, so you've written 3 books, or is it just 2 and 3 is on its way? I'm very curious.
Okay, so far I have 2 published books. Okay. One is The Scarlet Woman. That's my first book we had talked about. My second book that I had got published was Woman Activated, Ignited by the Plug. That was a more, I think I got it all together now. Okay, I have a relationship with God. I'm doing big things. I have freed myself. You know, I have exorcised the demon. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that book. But I still wasn't in a good place. After I came up with that second book, I really felt like I was still not in a good place and that I was lying to myself and to people that I'm trying to convince to buy this book. Hey, I've changed my life. I'm woman activated now. Purchase me. And girl, I was still ripped to shreds. So I began to write more. Writing has been like a healing place for me. I think even writing my first book, I literally came from a place where I want to just get it off my chest. How can I get it off my chest? And I just began to just journal. Journaling was something that I thought was just for weird people and people who didn't have anything else to do. They're going to pick up this book and write. What are you writing in here? Okay.
Right.
What are you writing in here? I don't want to write. And one day I just kind of like looked back at all my entries and was like, wow. And I remember my sister telling me, I'm like, girl, how can I write a book? And she said, imagine yourself in a room talking to a room full of people, and you are trying to tell your story to this group of people. How would you write that out? So I was like, oh, okay. So I just started to write my story out from the beginning of how I knew it. The third book got birthed because I felt like I still was in that dark place and I needed to come out of that. So how could I come out of that? So Blurred Vision, I'm so super excited about this book. It is coming out in 2025. I don't know the date yet, but I know it's going to be this year. So I'm super excited about it. This book is literally me having to walk past everything. So I had to go back to the beginning of the first book. And then I had to go through the second book. I had to navigate through those spaces, and I literally had to rip off every piece. Now, this book took literally 2 years to produce. Okay. All my other books took less than a year. But I felt like this one, I wanted this one to be really, really good, and I really wanted this one to be my last one about me. Okay. I didn't want to no longer talk about me. I didn't want to talk about my story anymore. I wanted to somehow figure out a way to get me out the way so I can make room for other people who wanted to grow in a space of where they wanted to come out with a book. They just didn't know how to. And I wanted to be that navigation for them to find that place of peace where they could just get their story out. But I would be the one behind the pen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to hear about and read and finish reading because I started your first book. To Experience Exzneair. A lot of people don't know. We are coworkers, and I remember an experience with Exzneair.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you. Since you had all these questions for me, I literally was going to ask you, what can you tell the listeners and the viewers about your experience with me? Can you tell me what you have experienced since you have known me?
Well, energy. She swears she doesn't have any. She has energy. She has that 110-fold. She's a joy. She's honest. She's loyal. Now, don't mess the loyalty up because then that's a different story. She is very confident. She knows what she wants, and she knows how she wants it. She definitely has a story because every time I talk to you, it's always something new. Now, the ratchet side of her, listen, is something else. But I'm glad it's limited only to the television. Because I tell you, I was like, I've never watched this stuff. I didn't know how bougie, that bougie part that we have in connection with. I didn't have that ghetto like I thought, because the TV stuff is something different. She is very hardworking. When she loves hard. She's a giver. She gives more to others than she gives to herself, which is something that I know that you're probably working on. Her organization skills, I thought I had them together, but she has them way better than me. She can memorize and have stuff. If something comes up, she can navigate from the left side to the right side, around the back, and still have it done. And you like, okay, I'm still on the first question. And she is very intriguing. She never meets a stranger. She's probably one of the few people that I know that could probably name every person that's ever worked at our current place of employment. And I'm like, who is that? She's like, yeah, that's such and such. I met them. Oh, okay. You know them. The experience with Exzneair is going to continue to be an experience. And when that day comes, which I do not want it to happen anytime soon, there are going to be people lined up to tell that experience with Exzneair to end your dash. I'm thankful that you and I were able to meet, even though when we met, it was when one of your emotional times. I was like, this lady crazy? What's wrong with her? You know,
was that when
we were at work? That was the first. I had met you during orientation, but then I met you and you were going through something. I just had to stop and tell you, girl, breathe.
Oh, yeah.
Just stop it. Hey, like, you don't know me like that. Now, hold on. And you was like, I apologize. And you came back later, and me and you have been talking and interacting and dealing with life.
That was around the time that I came up with my second book.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was navigating from that place, but it was always an intense place to be when it came to men.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was in that place. And
yeah, I don't like that place. You can keep that.
I don't like that place either. But that speaks more to who I am, based off of the relationships that I had. So kind of like my story in a whole, it comes from navigating things with men and how it even affected me as a mom, and even as a woman, because we all come from different things and we all navigate through different spaces with our experiences. And I think for me, just you being here to support me in this journey today, I literally, you don't know how much it is to have someone, especially the old school ones, because I like hanging out with y'all.
Call me old girl.
Yes, you are. I mean, the gray hair is graying. I mean, the Salt and Pepper Club is live. But I will say that it's good to be in a place when you're 43 and you're you're talking to people who are even older than you. And it could be 48, it could be 50. It doesn't necessarily have to be like 70, 80 years old. But those are still like some good OGs to talk to too. But I like talking to you because you're going to give it to me raw and real. I can't say relatable because I may not have experienced it on a level of how you've experienced it. But I can also learn how to press through, especially when it comes to my emotions and different things, how I feel. I think that, having to battle with even what you deal with or go through when you're already dealing with social media. So I feel like you're already in competition with what's going on out there when you don't really need to be. You just need to be bold and sure of who you are. I mean, and I can really think back to that time when we had went out, and I know you're gonna laugh about this, and I just think it's funny, but this is the example. When we were at Kilroy's,
Right.
and we was watching the playoffs, and the Detroit Lions was playing the Commanders,
Oh my
and
goodness.
Here come Jim.
Jim came out of nowhere.
Jim, why are you bothering me?
And I'm like, Jim, leave her alone.
I really felt like that was kind of like a test of the wills too, because that was at my no stage. That was at my no and yes. If you want to buy me a drink, Jim, you ask. What did I say? Yes, sure.
And you're going to buy us a drink.
Yeah, you're going to buy us. You have to buy everybody at the table a drink. You can't just buy me one, okay? But I'm trying to watch the game. I'm not trying to talk to you. But what if, and not saying it was Jim, okay? Because y'all, Jim was like, Jim was definitely AARP, okay?
He's past my AARP.
And he had the R. Yeah, right. He had like triple A's.
Yes.
But Jim was very old, but I mean, he had so much energy. He was retired. He was just ready to mingle, I guess, whatever. But I was not ready to deal with anybody, not watching my Lions play this game. And that's probably why we got beat. Because Jim was bothering me.
We're going to blame it on Jim. It's Jim's.
But I feel like being there with you, you were able to see me in my yes and no stage and didn't know that you were in my yes and no stage. Like you didn't know where I was navigating from. I was navigating from a place that if a man asks you, hey, can I buy you a drink? Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Did you ask if me and you was going to chill and watch this game together? No.
Because you didn't come with him.
First of all, I didn't come with you, bruh, at all. And I don't think that a lot of men even understand that there's a love that I have for football. So I ain't trying to mess with you anyway, but that was in my yes and no stage. So you saw me in a stage of where I came out to enjoy the game.
Yep.
I didn't come out to be seen, to
or
get a
to
number.
Teach what's going on, because I
None
had
of
no
that.
clue, and you was like,
now maybe I would have missed out if it wasn't a gym, and maybe it was like a Morris Chestnut or somebody. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a little small pickings that night.
He was like a
little. I don't know.
What was that?
A little gnome.
Yeah. What was the cop from Martin? Mr. Otis. Yes,
Otis.
Girl. That's what he was.
He was
just
a
an
Mr.
old,
Otis.
scrubby old thing.
Otis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that allowing my viewers to see me in this authentic state. Like I said, that this is one of the main reasons why I just wanted to just dress down today. No makeup. Of course, I'm going to put my bangles on and put my earrings on and different things like that. I just think that I wanted people to see me and not the glammed up side of who I am. I didn't want somebody to see me in an era or in a place that I'm trying to be. I just want to be me. And being me is coming as I am and feeling comfortable even with that. Because most people would have been like, so this is going to be on YouTube? Or this is going to be on social media? And is this how you come? They would not have agreed to this. But I didn't ask anybody's permission when I got dressed. And I did not care about what others thought. I wanted people to hear me and know that there are real people out here. Right. And I'm just a real person. And even with glam or fame or money, I think because I've lived life so long that you could give me $5 million right now and I'm going to find a reason to go to the Goodwill. I'm going to find one.
Yes. I love it.
I'm gonna find one.
We're going to be on that yard sale ride on a Saturday morning. Yes, with that pickup truck.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So.
Well, I want to thank you for having me do this interview for you.
Okay.
And letting everybody experience Ms. Zena. Because the essence of her is truly, truly a light.
Yes. And to all my viewers, to all my listeners, just know that there is so much more to come from me. I'm going to open up a realm of stories. I have some guests. I have so much in store for you all, and I'm so super excited about bringing it to you. I'm actually going to use the chapter titles of my books for my topics, for an all-centered around way to kind of get it out. So even when I have guests on, I'm going to navigate from a space where I send them the actual chapter. And let them read it, and we navigate off of that topic. Because like I said, there's so much and so many things that we've all went through. I think I just was bold enough to be in a place to be able to tell that story and to be authentic about it. So I think with allowing my viewers to see my book, hear my story, you can also find my books on Amazon. I will link everything down in the description below for today's episode. So I'm super excited about this journey. I'm super excited about just being able to be here and allow you as the viewer to experience Exzneair and really learn who she is and really learn who I am in the process. I think that I am growing even as I do this. So I'm still coming from a place of healing and a place where I know I need to grow.
Okay.
So thank you all.
All right. That's all I have for today.
Okay.
All right.